Welcome back to another beautiful devlog where we are creating my childhood dream game from concept to finished release. Last episode we created a basic representation of how the combat will work for the game, while in today's episode we will be focusing on the overworld for the game and once again reworking the game's art design. Over the past couple months, we have been trying to figure out a visual style that is both eye-catching but also professional. However, with every devlog, we get some pretty major criticism about the art style and how disorienting it can be. We tried creating a fake 3D effect using a method called Sprite Stacking to get the visuals to emulate a 3D space, stacking flat planes of images on top of each other projected in different ways to create the 3D objects, but unfortunately we felt a bit limited as to what we could accomplish with this style, as we're still pretty inexperienced in it, and I wanted to focus on a polished art style over an experimental one. 100% I will be revisiting sprite stacking in the future, but because this is such a diverse project, we had to go back to the drawing board, and we are now deciding that we want to go back to the generic 16x16 canvas pixel art top-down style. We are going down the more conventional route of most retro games you guys are probably familiar with, like The Legend of Zelda, the original Pokemon games, and some new iterations on the classics like Hyper-Light Drifter and Moonlighter. I am still learning pixel art, so again, things will continue to change as the project moves forward, but here is an example scene of what we are going for. I hope you guys understand the changes needed to be made, but without further ado, let's move on to what we developed next in the game. To start, here are some animations we have for both the mining and the woodcutting skills, which I will be implementing in an upcoming devlog, but for now, they're just sprites. Before I get into the real meat of the devlog though, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Core. If you don't know what Core is, it is a free game creation platform that you can create your own games with or play other people's games. You can make games with no coding involved at all, or if you are a weirdo like me and like to make life harder, you can use a built-in coding language called Lua. My favorite part about using Core is just how easy it is to set up an online multiplayer game. In addition to all of this stuff, Core just announced a new feature called the $1 million Core Creator Payouts Pilot Program for the best of the best developers. Core is kinda like you took Mario Maker and combined it with a high-end game engine with pre-made high-quality models and a sexy UI. Oh, and did I mention that you can also make money from every game you make? This is honestly a great idea for a game creation platform with no real competition at the moment. No experience is needed to get started with Core, so make sure and click the link in the description to download Core now and help support this channel. Okay, so now that we have the scene set up, it's time for me to create it in game. I started with importing all the sprites into the game and then splitting up the files into sections to allow for certain terrain to change slightly for a more randomized environment. I have categories like small and medium decorations, grass, trees, and more. Once I had everything ready to go sorted into objects, I had to start on creating different ways to have monsters in the overworld. Eventually, I decided on this magical aura, so after some playing around, here is the end result. I used some pretty cool acceleration math to create different effects like the ball moving up and down, left to right, on an angle, and a circular motion to give more personality to the creatures and adding in potential movement puzzles and timed events like something you see here. If you run into one of these aura monsters, it will trigger a battle, so make sure and be prepared for that. You guys are going to have to wait to see what we've done with battling until the next devlog, but I do have one final announcement to make in today's episode. I have teased this in some comments and live streams here and there, but I still get this question a lot. The number one question being asked about this game is, does this game have monster evolutions? The short answer is, well, yes and no. In our game, you will have tons of monsters to choose from, capturing new creatures throughout the game's story, but we wanted all of our monsters to be on a pretty even playing field when it comes to combat. Monsters will certainly have their own strengths and weaknesses, but I wanted to stray away from baby and adult versions of creatures and do something a bit different. This is where we came up with the mechanic of monster fusions. Monster fusing will be a fun way to give players a secondary task for completionists while allowing players to feel like they are able to customize their monsters more to their liking. You know, I really love this Stillport guy, but what if I already have 2 nature types on my team and I need some more variety to cover type advantages? Well, look no further than this new fire type fusion. Or what if you got dropped on your head as a baby and just don't like the color purple for some reason? Well, bam, here you go, 3 other unique styles to choose from. Fusions will not just be a cosmetic change though. It will change some form of typing, either an elemental change, a class change, or both. This will also allow monsters to learn unique moves from their new typing. Passive abilities and stats may change as well, so there will be a lot of variety in the game's selection. I don't want to overwhelm you guys, so let's just say that monster fusions will be locked behind mini side quests to complete for each monster in combination with a few specific loot needed to allow the creature to change forms. Once you have unlocked a fusion, you can then go into the nursery and change your monsters however you want at any point, but we'll have to talk about this more when we actually have the system in place and you guys understand how the nursery will work. Every monster will have at least 1 fusion, but some can have up to 4 unique variations. It's a lot to go over as time goes on, but I've been super excited to finally let you guys in on how we intend on doing monster customization. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of these additions to the game, but that's all I've got for today. Thank you everyone for your continued support. I will be attempting to stream every Saturday I can, starting with November 12th. Make sure to check out Core in the description below and drop a like to help out the series. And to conclude today's video, I will be showing off a few more monster fusions you will find in the game.